Warning, the following podcast contains Falcon and Winter Soldier being referred to in the Elton John way. Bucky and the Cap! Bucky!
Martini, shaken not. Shocking. Positively shocking.
Welcome to Shaken Not Nerd. I almost said warning then. The only podcast that you're listening to currently, right now. I hope so. It would be weird if you were listening to multiple at the same time. Of course, I am your host for this evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time you're listening to this, Tom, and I am joined by one of two lovely bearded men. Which one? Duty.
Hello.
Welcome, Duty. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing well.
Well, very well to hear that. And, of course, the second bearded man is Fuzzy Dan.
That is correct. I am the second. I'm coming in stereo. That's where you do the sound effect. Stereo. It didn't work. Anyway, I'm coming in from another bearded place, in another bearded dimension where everything has a beard, including beards.
We're all bearded now.
Yeah, we are.
All three of us bearded.
I like that. I remember a couple of years ago when you were saying that you couldn't grow a beard, or you never thought you can grow a beard. Now you've got a pretty good one.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I'm happy with how it's going.
It only took you 18 months.
It was all of COVID, I think.
It only
you just
took a
screwed out.
pandemic. Well, it's good. It just means that if we ever go zombie apocalypse, I can be the ginger-bearded scary man.
The Abraham from Walking Dead, or Tormund, or whatever.
No, I prefer his name, the ginger-bearded scary man. Let's go with that.
Scary man.
Do you know
I can
the
see that being a
Gingerbeard
movie.
Man?
It would be. And then I would be referred to as the gingerbread man. And I'd walk around with bread.
With bread.
You're the red-headed cousin of Slender Man.
He is tall. He is lanky. I mean, it could work.
Exactly. Perfect. All right.
Hollywood, make this happen.
All right, gents. It has been 2 weeks since our last episode. So
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So why don't we start off? If anybody has any notable news items from the week that they wanted to actually mention, I have had my head in the ground, so I'm not sure that I have any.
Fair enough. We got Pierce Brosnan becoming Dr. Fate in the Black Adam film.
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan is going to be Dr. Fate. For those of you who don't know who Dr. Fate is, he's Doctor Strange, but he's DC. But he's not like a Batman or a Superman or something. Anyone can be Dr. Fate if they wear the helmet of Nuru, which is the helmet that Dr. Fate wears. So if Tom puts it on, Tom becomes Dr. Fate, and he gets possessed by Nuru and becomes Dr. Fate. It's really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do it. I like Pierce Brosnan as an actor. I think it's a good choice. Yeah.
Oh, it's exciting to see him doing something besides Mamma Mia too.
Why he signed on to that, I don't
Getting
know.
tanned in Greece, that's why he signed on to it.
I mean, he can do it himself, though. It's apparently very cheap to go to Greece when you live in Europe.
Yeah, but imagine getting paid $1 million to go to Greece and get tanned.
Yeah, but he can't sing. Have you seen the scenes of him trying to sing?
No, I haven't.
He's still got paid $1 million, doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I like that Dr. Fate's coming along. Dr. Fate, I think, is a really cool Golden Age hero character. And it's also not as confusing, like if you have Green Lantern and it's not, everyone's expected normal version of Green Lantern. If it was Alan Scott's Green Lantern, everyone would be like, who the fuck's this guy in the purple cape? So it's kind of cool. I think we're getting Hawkman as well in the Black Adam movie that starts filming next month, I think it is, around that time. So I think that's pretty cool. We also have the news that Black Widow Baby is coming out again in July of this year. It's coming to movies and Disney Plus because they keep pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. Now they've just gone, fuck it, we're dropping it on Disney Plus.
Well, and it looks like it may have actually worked out for them the way that they've decided to do this, because apparently the predictions for how they're actually going to, like their box office predictions are so much better now than they were when it was originally going to be released, because obviously people haven't been seeing any movies, so Black Widow is going to come out and everybody's going to go see it.
I mean...
Well, everyone got really excited after Godzilla vs. Kong has just broken the box office for pandemic films. So they're like, well, movies may be back then. Let's just do it.
I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, Godzilla Kong is doing very well at the international box office as well as the box office, as well as the domestic box office.
I still haven't seen it. I need to see it.
Godzilla Kong. It's okay.
Yeah, you need to see it.
It's fine.
It is a fantastic film. Dirty is...
it does what it says on the box,
minority.
but that's it.
Well, at least it does what it says on the box. King of Monsters didn't do what it said on the box.
But didn't the movie end with all these monsters bowing down to Godzilla because he was king of the monsters?
Did it?
Yeah, but where was his crown?
Yeah, exactly. I wanted a throne.
He needed Excalibur or nothing.
Don't worry, Kong gets a throne. It's very stupid.
No, don't tell me that.
Don't spoil it. No, look, it's a fantastic film. Go and watch it on the biggest screen possible. It is really worth it.
Yeah, see
I
it on
think.
a big screen.
And it is definitely one of those ones that I think has benefited from the fact that some places now are opening up again, so people are going back to the movies, which is great. Other places obviously seeing it on digital release. So yeah, look, I just think it's fantastic. This mixed release version. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Black Widow Down Under in Australia, whether or not it actually gets the cinema release alongside the digital release. How that plays out will be interesting.
But it's for those of you who can't make it to the cinemas or who don't want to make it to the cinemas, it's coming to Disney Plus. So it'll probably be the same thing, $30 at home on your Disney Plus account, and rather than $25 per person at the cinema, and then you can get drunk as much as you want in your own home.
Yeah,
I mean, you can still get as drunk as you want at the cinema. You just have to go home.
It's a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, it is more expensive.
It's not more expensive if you sneak it in.
Yeah, fair enough. We also have not next week, the week after Mortal Kombat is coming out. It was originally supposed to come out on
Sorry,
the 5th.
What? I can't hear what you're saying, man. I need to hear it in the proper verse.
No, it's coming out the 5th. It was supposed to come out.
Thank you, Thomas.
I was supposed to come out the 15th of April. It's now been pushed to the 22nd, so it's just been pushed the following week. So, of course, I think that will be our next episode following this one.
And they did actually drop the official reworked theme song, which sounds like an EDM track from 2010.
Who did the song? Was it the Immortals?
No.
Because if it was the Immortals, then it'd be like, it's fine. It's the Immortals. They can do whatever the fuck they want because they did the original one.
I don't think so.
You sent it to me. I haven't watched it.
I did send it to you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who did it, but in my opinion, it's not great. Like some of the other ones.
I mean, let's be honest. The original took a long time to grow on people.
No, it didn't. The original just came out and it was fantastic.
I think it's one from the second one that's my favourite one, I think.
That one's a lot faster.
Yeah, that one.
That's the one that's really, really fast.
Yeah,
it's like taking 4 lines of coke and going, I got not even Mortal Kombat there.
This is 100% an electronic song. And in my opinion, like, as I was saying to Judy about it, was that I enjoy the Reptile theme song by Skrillex.
Yeah, that's actually that's pretty good. Ian was like, oh god, it's Skrillex. I'm like, no, listen to it. It's actually pretty it's pretty catchy. It's pretty bouncy.
Yeah.
Bouncy.
Yeah,
it's still Skrillex.
What the fuck is wrong with Skrillex?
Why do people hate Skrillex?
I mean...
What the fuck is right with Skrillex? Let me ask that question.
Because he looks like most bartenders in Melbourne. Is that the problem, Fuzzy?
Yes, I don't need to see a barista on stage doing his thing. I mean, if I wanted to see that, I would go to anywhere in Melbourne, and yes, they would be there. But he just does nothing. Does nothing.
Well, speaking of not doing anything, this is actually pretty cool. Came out, it was announced not too long ago. It was on the Facebook listening community. A Optimus Prime Transformer that transforms itself. Did you see the video?
I didn't watch the video.
Oh man, the guy says Optimus Prime, was it like transform and roll out, or one of the fucking initiate or whatever it is. It literally transforms and stands up. But not only is it just, it doesn't look like one of those when you go to like it's Christmas time and everyone's supposed to be happy except your grandfather's drinking themselves into an early grave at 34. No, it's instead of being those like shitty transformers that literally just stand up and that's it.
Your grandfather's 34.
I'm referring to myself. But it's an actual transformer. It actually like splits its leg and opens up and spins around and stuff. But when it's Optimus is in his robot mode, he actually like moves as if he's like breathing. So he's like his chest is coming in and out and stuff like that. You say like, "Are you my friend, Optimus?" And he'll like beat his chest and go, "You are my friend." I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty fucking cool." There's like a 7-minute video of Jay and Silent Bob playing with it and like, you know, saying all these commands and shit. It is voiced by Peter Cullen, who is the original voice actor of Optimus Prime, and it is going to go for $700, so that'll be around $1,100 here.
Ouch.
My brother is probably going to get it.
It feels like it's worth it.
But there's so many things you could get with $1,100.
Like what? Please.
A nice hat.
I don't know.
Some ramen.
$1,100 worth of ramen.
Yeah, why not?
About $1,100 worth of shapes.
Could get $1,100 worth of shapes. Do you know what I realized? I actually thought of this the other day. I realized that I feel very much like an adult. Was that somebody on Facebook put up a comment about ramen packs, and he's just like, "Why don't they store the onions in like the foil anymore? They're now in a plastic sort of container." And I was sitting there and just being like, I don't remember the last time I had ramen or 2-minute noodles. Am I an adult?
No.
Is this what happens?
Wait until you have very little money in your bank account and you're getting hungry. Ramen comes in handy. Ramen and buying like fresh Baker's Delight, not fresh Baker's Delight, but like the Woolies loaf bread at like 5 p.m. It's like, well, we need to get rid of it, so it's $1. So you just get that.
So the new place that I live now, I am very much enjoying the local bagel scene. The fact that Coles just sells bagels, and just like I eat so many bagels now.
Our friends in the States, I'm so fucking jealous of them. The last time I had a bagel was coming home from the States, and it was a cheese and jalapeno bagel. It was the fucking bomb. That with cream cheese.
Yep, that's what I had for breakfast this morning. A bagel with cream cheese.
Did you?
Yes.
Well, you said yes like Bane, you fucking know.
It's from Bane Outtakes on YouTube.
It is. Fuzzy, when was the last time you had a bagel?
Probably a couple of days ago. I have bagels all the time. There's amazing bagel places in Melbourne, mate. I even make my own bagels.
You make bagels?
Hells yes. It's a lot of fun. You boil the bread.
I always took you as a man that would boil bread.
So Tom needs to make me a pie and Fuzzy needs to make me a bagel. I just don't want to ask Ian to make me cream cheese.
Oh. Good God.
No, I apologize, gents. I have not listened to your Godzilla vs. Kong episode, so I don't know whether you spoke about them. Did you speak about the trailers for Space Jam?
No, we didn't. That came out during this week. What the fuck has happened? What have we done to my boy? My beautiful boy.
I believe we talked about it in the listener community.
Yes.
I can understand now why no one in the basketball community signed up to do this, because it looks like a steaming pile of shit.
I do wonder whether the first one kind of looked similar when it came out.
Nah, the first one was fucking awesome. I remember the Happy Meal toys. They were cool.
Yeah, it was awesome when we were... what age were we?
I want to say 34. What have they done to Lola Bunny?
Oh, they've created a whole new generation of furries, duty. That's what they've done.
No, they haven't.
They've actually reduced Lola Bunny in some places.
They have shrunk her and put her in pants. That's not the Lola Bunny I remember.
There were people actually like complaining about it.
Really? I mean...
Oh, yeah.
I understand the complaint.
People were unhappy that Lola was not as curvaceous as...
And look, I just got told to stop asking about it. I mean, they said, we're not going to take your emails anymore. Just stop. Lola is as she is.
Bunny boobs. Bunny boobs.
I want Lola Bunny to be thick.
Thick.
I think they also got rid of Pepe Le Pew due to his character.
Yeah, basically there's a whole bunch of stuff around that. So they've removed him. They've said no one wants him anymore. And yet in the background of all of the people in the crowd, all these sort of Warner Brothers properties, someone was quite happy to point out that all of the characters from A Clockwork Orange were just standing in the crowd. So, very selective of the things that they remove from this movie.
I do wonder, though, like, this film,
yes.
who's it targeted at? Like, do kids... Fuzzy, would your child know the Looney Tunes?
No. Oh, he's got an idea of them, but like never. I don't think he's got the connection of them like that we probably had when we were kids. So, yeah. I don't think he's as excited for this.
Does he have a connection to the characters of Clockwork Orange?
I mean that, yeah, absolutely. I showed him that when he was 5. I said it's time. We need to learn about oranges.
Even I haven't watched that film yet. I just know it's fucked up.
It's a good film.
Apparently, Pennywise is going to be in this film. Like a live action Pennywise.
And this is all the thing, like they talk about, the Joker's in this and Pennywise and all the rest of it. They're all just going to be in the crowd for half a second. Apparently, it's going to be exactly like what happened in fucking Ready Player One.
Apparently, I saw behind the scenes photos. It was either Pennywise or the Joker. It was one of the two. Either way, it was a clown. They were the referee for the basketball game.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, there you go. I'm wondering if they're going to get scared.
Yeah.
I doubt it. Surely he'd be too expensive to just put in there for a cameo.
Yeah, but if you love the character, be like, hey man, you want to get like 20 grand, dress up as Pennywise for 10 minutes and do this? Be like, yeah, sure, whatever. What else has he got going on?
I don't know. What are the Skarsgårds doing at the moment?
Well, one of them's in Kong Godzilla and he does nothing.
Which one?
Bill. Was it Bill?
It's Alexander.
There we go.
Alexander. So the one who's in...
Alexander?
Alexander? He's the one... For those playing at home,
Shut up.
That's our impression of Duty's father saying his name. Alexander?
Yeah, that's when I'm in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Was there anything else? Any other trailers or anything we haven't spoken about? Anything at all before we move to the theme?
Fuzzy?
No, not at this stage.
No, not
there
at this stage. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to buckle yourselves in for the theme of this week's weekly theme. Duty. Yes.
I'm sorry. I was trying to get something relevant for this week's weekly theme.
And that is, of course, we have been banking them up. We have four of them in the bag, which I'm really hoping one of you two is going to be better at summarizing each episode, because I'm going to suck at doing that. Is, of course, Bucky and the Cat. Bucky. Yes, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the latest Disney Plus Marvel creation.
Mm-hmm.
It is out. It is releasing exactly when WandaVision was going out, and it is a very different type of TV show to the one we were just watching, which I'm good with. But yeah, so does either of you want to give us a quick summary of either... You can do all 4 episodes in one, you can do one episode at a time.
Yeah, we'll do one episode. Fuzzy, do you want to pick the odds? I pick the evens, or how do you want to do this? Have you?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that. So episode 1. Let's talk about it. The title for this one is New World Order. We have the new Cap decides not to be the Cap anymore, and yeah, basically he hands over Captain America's shield to the government,
Smithsonian.
That's right, to put up in the museum, and he says, even despite the whole, which really confused me from the start, because basically, at the end of Endgame, he gets the shield, and it's like, it's time for you to be the captain, and then the start of the show, he's like, I don't want to be the captain. What the fuck happened in between that? Anyway, he is still being the Falcon. I don't know who he works for either, and this is one of the really confusing things that we'll talk about later. He may be working for someone in the US government or not. I don't know. He just basically does a bunch of really cool stuff. He rescues a hostage from a terrorist group that does some stuff where they jump out of a plane.
He fights Batroc again.
Yeah, and which is a pretty cool scene, I thought. A very cool action scene to start off the show. And yes, so that's his storyline for the first one. And then we've got Bucky Barnes doing his thing. He's basically trying to make amends to some of the people that he has wronged in his time as the Winter Soldier. And he's also trying to get getting lucky with the ladies. So we see a lot of that. Unfortunately, what we don't see in this first episode is the Bucky or the Cap together in the same scene at the same time, which was very odd for me. We also see at the end of the episode, in a surprise twist, that America announces a new Captain America. and his name is John Walker, and he is not anybody that we've seen before. So, yes, that sort of goes on to the rest of the show.
I'm going to say lastly, on that last scene, I think they did a good job of picking an actor who has a nice enough face, but who looks really bad in the cowl.
Right? He puts the helmet on.
His ears stick about too much. They're just too much.
And I feel like his nose is smushed.
Yeah. It's like they used Chris Evans' face structure and they just went, it'll fit on anyone.
There's a picture that Matt Combs put up on Instagram.
2 T's, 2 M's.
2 T's, 2 M's. Go check him out. And it has the grandfather or the old guy from Up wearing the Captain America. And I'm just like, yes, it looks exactly like that.
Get off my lawn.
What is he?
Now, the guy that's playing him is a guy called Wyatt Russell, I think it is.
Mm.
He's Thingo's son, Kurt Russell's son.
Is it?
Is he?
Tom is nodding his head.
He's Kurt Russell's son.
There we go. Okay. So he is. He's one of those actors that's been around, but I don't know if people will know what he's been in. So he was in a movie which I very much enjoyed from a couple of years ago called Overlord, which is
that's that J.J. Abrams horror filmy thing, isn't it?
Yeah, we reviewed
Nazi zombies and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of those sleeper ones. So yeah, he's an interesting actor. I think he's a good actor, and it's just interesting to see somebody else as the Cap at this point.
He's a good. He does definitely progress, and I'm interested when he appears on screen, because when you first see him, me and Mon were watching this after a couple of bottles of wine, like we do, and we would go, "That's not my captain," and Mon was quoting Harry Potter, being like, "How dare you stand where he stood," sort of things. His outfit's very. I wouldn't say it's very. It's the exact same style as Captain America, but it's different colors. Sort of like when you both pick Scorpion and Mortal Kombat, and one of them's yellow, one of them's orange. It's dark red and it's dark blue and there's no white on it, which that's what Captain America's outfit had. He's very, I think he's made off the comic book character US Agent.
Yeah, he is.
But I really enjoyed the first episode for Bucky and the Cap, because I was sitting there going, okay, cool. After watching WandaVision, time to watch Bucky and the Cap, and Falcon's story was kind of cool, seeing GSP come back as Batroc, and Falcon gets a bit of the shit kicked out of him. But all the PTSD stuff with Winter Soldier was fucking awesome. And they keep bringing back Henry Jackman's score for Winter Soldier, that eerie, high-pitched screamy sort of thing, that sort of echoey scream. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm loving this. I'm a Winter Soldier guy. This is great. And it's Falcon's I'm on a boat. I'm trying to help my sister with a boat. Aren't I cool? And I'm like, no, go back to Winter Soldier, because something's going on there. And then you find out that he's hanging out with his neighbor, who's this 80, 90-year-old man. And it's just why is he hanging out with this guy? It's fucking weird. And then you find out at the end of the episode. And what is it spoilers? Do people really care? This isn't major.
We're 4 episodes deep. They can, spoilers are fine.
Yeah. That you find out that he's hanging out with this old man because he killed his son because it was wrong place, wrong time. And this old man wants to get justice and find out what happened to his son. And Winter Soldier killed him because he witnessed Winter Soldier killing people. And it's just that's fucking brutal and pretty dark and twisted and fucked up. And I'm like, I want to see where this keeps going. I was immediately hooked as soon as the show started. I'm much more of this sort of genre of film and TV, rather than it's black and white and it's weird magic and we explain nothing and it was Agatha all along.
See, I enjoy both, to be honest with you. So I enjoyed episode 1 of this. I think I had the same grievances that Fuzzy has already sort of gone through, where they didn't actually meet up together, sort of thing. But I sort of understand the ideas of that, and I do think it did lay enough breadcrumbs to become a little bit intriguing. It was very clearly episode 1 was just setting the scene. And you needed to. And I must say, one of the things that I just credit to them, and I understand that Marvel have been doing films for a very long time now, but TV like this is really is new for them. And considering, look at so many other TV shows which need at least season 1 to land on their feet and be decent, and then move into season 2. I think that with both of these series so far, Marvel have proven they can just walk in and go, yeah, we can ace the season 1. We can do well with the season 1.
Yeah.
Which is quite impressive, because a lot of things don't.
Yeah, when you go back and look at, like, the first season of Friends or Seinfeld or, you know, even shows like Dexter and Breaking Bad, it's very low budget. You can sort of see that, you know, the set of the police station or, you know, the coffee house or whatever the fuck it might be, it looks a bit weird. Then when, of course, you know, if you jump ahead to season 5, like, they've got fucking money everywhere. Like, the set's completely different. The wardrobes are different. Like, the attention to detail and the special effects and everything is completely different. Where this is just starting off with a pretty damn good budget. And it's using CGI, of course, for Falcon flying everywhere and all that sort of stuff like that. And
I guess
Soldier's
they
armor.
are defined characters already, so they don't really need to do a lot of the back work that a lot of seasons 1s would.
Yeah, exactly. They wouldn't need to introduce the characters, and I enjoyed this episode. What about you, Fuzzy?
Yeah, I just didn't think it did enough. I think I get that they're building a lot of the backstory and trying to, you know, show a lot of the characters and where they are and what's going on for them. I very much think the show, as it's progressed, sort of spoilers for later on, but I think it's become more of Bucky's story than it has of Cap's story, of Falcon's story. It's like, it really is. There's more to do with the Bucky character, and especially his, like you say, the PTSD and working through a bunch of that stuff. I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff in there. I just don't think Sam's that interesting as a character. I think he's a good supporting actor, but a supporting character, sorry. I just don't think there's enough in his storyline. And they... Yeah, you talked about, you know, him trying to borrow money to save, you know, his family's business and his sister's home and all the rest of it. Like, this goes to my point about who the fuck does he work for? Like, I thought he was an Avenger, but is he not an Avenger? Because sometimes it seems like he's working for the army, but the army doesn't want him. Like, who the fuck is he working for? Because he seems to just show up with dudes at times and have things to do. And it just... Yeah. I think they've kind of skipped a beat there about, okay, he's still an Avenger, he's still getting paid to do this shit, because there's no way he's doing it for free, right?
Well, he says when he's in the bank, I can't recall if the bank is episode 1 or episode 2. I assume it's episode 1. But he says, like, oh, you're an Avenger, like, but you also have no payment summaries. It's like, don't you guys get paid? And he's like, well, it's actually, we do it out of goodwill. Like, we don't actually get paid to be an Avenger. And I'm like, when you think about it, that's pretty spot on. Like, Thor doesn't need to worry about money. Iron Man doesn't need to worry about money. Like, there's all these characters who don't really need to worry about that sort of stuff. But then there's, you know, Captain America, who would have been tied to S.H.I.E.L.D., and he would have been tied to, well, I don't even know what's after, I don't know, Sword. Maybe he works for Sword. But it's, I would say it's Falcon probably works in the same, I don't know, company, organization, government department as War Machine. Like, it's the same sort of Homeland Defense sort of thing. So yeah, that's at least what I would take from it. But it was also cool, like, giving those background things of, like, yeah, Avengers don't get paid. They save the world, but that's it.
Wasn't that because Falcon was one of the ones who disappeared, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was the whole thing. So he had disappeared, and then he came back, and then Iron Man died. So I don't think he had that backing of Avengers money, even if money was coming through.
Yeah, and he wasn't an Avenger for long.
But still, he was an Avenger, like, you know, that's the whole thing. Like, I just think there's a missing piece to this puzzle about, okay, I'm now working for these guys, because it literally starts and he's, you know, hey Sam, we need your help to, you know, save this guy from this terrorist. And it's like, well, who the fuck are you?
Yeah,
are you the army? Like, you know, where's the connection there? And it shows up a couple of times. I think there's a lot of really convenient plot points that just kind of go, okay, now we're just on a, you know, cargo plane going somewhere.
Yeah,
like, who the fuck runs this thing? Who's financing him to? Are they financing him to be an Avenger or just be a hero? What are they doing? Like, it's not explained enough. And in shows that are like 45 minutes long, take 2 minutes to just say it.
Yeah, I am quite unclear on who that person was who kept calling him and feeding him information.
He's like CIA or something, isn't he?
But he shows up for like the first episode, maybe the first 2 episodes, and then he's gone. Like, he disappears.
He does get the shit kicked out of him.
Because it seems to me that from my idea, and this delves further into some of the episodes, is that he is more of a lot of people coming online on Duty's Discord at the moment. Is that he seems to be part of, he seems to work with the government, whereas the Captain America guy seems to work with GRC.
Yes. And
yes, the GRC, the Global Repatriation Company.
Yeah. Because he does say as well in the later episode, is like, we're freelance. You guys have to run your way. We can run however the fuck we want. Like, he's probably just freelance. Yeah. It's probably just his shtick. We do also get
There's a lot of weird things around, like, who's what kind of powers Captain America has to be running around Europe, arresting people and all the rest of it. Like, it just a little bit weird.
Was there a line in there about you have no jurisdiction or something? Or am I
there was, yeah. We also do get introduced to the series villain straight off the bat, which is a organization known as the Flag Smashers, who want to return Earth to, not necessarily by killing everyone, but want to return Earth to pre the unsnapping of Thanos in regards to there were no borders. It was everyone, one world, one people sort of situation. And then that sort of gives us a hint of the CIA guy who's working sort of alongside Falcon. He tries to blend in and pretend he's one of them. He tries to stop them, and we find out that he is a super soldier. So he like fucking kicks the living shit out of people, throws them around, all that sort of stuff like that. And it gives us the thing of, okay, there's more super soldiers out there than just Captain and the Steve Rogers and Bucky. Like, there's more than just those two, and that leads on to the second episode.
Tell us about it.
Second episode's called The Star-Spangled Man. Didn't take a look at it on my phone at all. The episode immediately starts with giving us an introduction to John Walker, of who he is as sort of a person, but also introducing us to him as sort of the second Captain America. I thought immediately as this episode starts, he's definitely more showboaty than Captain America, but he comes out to the theme of Star-Spangled Man, which is the theme that Captain America has in the first one, where he's like dancing with the 1940s girls and stuff, but like this is, in the middle of a fucking football field, and there's, trumpets and cheerleaders and all that sort of shit like that. It introduces us to the character, it gives us conflict, and we get Bucky and Falcon coming together, or Winter Soldier and Falcon coming together, and sort of flat up discussing, like, why did you give up the shield? Steve gave that to you. He gave it to you for a reason. Falcon just blowing it off, being like, hey man, it wasn't your shield, not your problem, fuck off. We do get some hilarious things where it's like, oh, we got to go deal with a threat. It's either one of the big three, wizards, robots, or aliens. And it's like, oh,
I like that. And
I was like, hey, this is not a bad idea. And they go into this little nothing of a conversation tidbit breakdown of what a wizard is. And it's like, how do you know about Gandalf? I'm like, I read The Hobbit in 1937 when it came out. It's like, Doctor Strange isn't a wizard, but he doesn't wear a hat. He's a sorcerer. Just like this fun little shit that you get together. Yeah. From there, we find out that they're wanting to find the Flag Smashers. They want to track them down. We get a little bit of sort of conflict between Falcon and Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier wants to know what's going on, what's the plan, because he's essentially, third wheeling into his operation. And then from there, we find out that Emphas Nest from the Solo movie is in this film, in the series, and she's a super soldier as well. They have this really cool fight on top of two semi trucks, and John Walker, Captain America, rocks up in a helicopter, and he somehow holds his own for a brief moment, and he knows how to use the shield, which, yeah, the shield's not Mjolnir, like you don't need to be worthy to use it, but he's using it in precision like Captain America would be.
That was a bit shit. Like, he was like immediately doing that like double bouncing shield thing and like getting back to his hands. And I know they had a thing briefly where they explained it because it was all about magnets, but it was a bit shit that he's all of a sudden just Steve Rogers again.
Sorry.
Did they actually tell us that he wasn't a super soldier?
He's not a super soldier.
No, I know he's not. But did they actually tell us, or we were just meant to know that?
Well,
it becomes fairly apparent just later in these battles that he's very underpowered, and I think they talk about it quite seriously in later episodes.
Well, there's actually a really cool nod that's actually in that scene.
The truck fight.
In the truck fight. I didn't actually notice it when I was watching it, but I was reading another thing that said it. Is there's actually a nod back to a previous shot. So when Winter Soldier was originally introduced, there's a sword throw, and Winter Soldier turns around and catches the shield with his metal arm. And in this one, the exact same thing happens. However, he catches the shield with his human arm.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like a thing where when Steve threw it, he needed to use the metal arm.
He needed to use proper force to throw the shield, where he's just like throwing it like a fucking frisbee. Yeah. I picked up on that as well, and I went, hang on. I was speaking to Ian about it as well. He thought the truck fight was shit and the CGI was awful and everything's bad because he thinks it's bad. I thought this scene was fucking cool as fuck. I thought it was pretty sweet. I love sort of the tight knitness because it was like on a freeway or road, but it was very close to like tree lines and stuff. So like Falcon had to watch out if he like fell and deployed his wings like away from trees and shit. I thought that was cool. John Walker rocks up and just fucks everything up. He immediately gives away his shield like to what's his name, Battlestar or whatever it is, his random ass sidekick character who's his best friend, falls off the truck and he just throws his shield under him to protect him. Like, cool, you have no weapon and you're just a man. What are you gonna do now there, bucko? Like, it was a really cool fight. I thought it was cool. Fuck, what else can you really say about that fight?
Look, I will say just with how the fight goes, like I think some of the CGI in this was not as great as I wanted it to be, but I did like how Falcon sort of developed and he's using his wings as shields properly and doing all sorts of stuff. Like the way that he fights is quite cool, but I just don't think that, like they've spent a lot of money on this, but not movie budget money, which is a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, well, I think they've successfully made Falcon more interesting as a combatant and stuff. Like I find him a lot more enjoyable to watch, and he's not like shooting a giant flying space creature,
and he doesn't have the guns coming out of his wrist.
Yeah, I was about to say with MP5s,
they weren't MP5s,
whatever they were, but like little tiny
submachine guns,
machine
pistols,
machine pistols, pretty much. So I think that's a little bit cooler. The only issue that I have with this fight scene in general is I feel like, and even compared to some of the stuff we see in episode 3 and 4, it makes Winter Soldier's power level in this doesn't seem as strong or as capable as he does in, say, the next episode or the episode after this. I feel like they needed to be at more of a disadvantage during this, so they sort of underpowered Winter Soldier in this fight.
I feel like Winter Soldier, though, wouldn't go full ham, because he's, like, you see him sort of, I wouldn't say mentally snap, but you see how easy it is in episode 3 for him to just fluidly get back into the movement and the rhythm of being the Winter Soldier, like when he is the Winter Soldier. And you just go like, that was too easy for him to just like go down this path.
I am wondering whether that's the thing they're sort of meant to. In this fight scene, he is not the Winter Soldier.
No, like, he's Bucky.
He's Bucky, and Bucky has to learn how to fight as Bucky, which is what I'm wondering whether that is the case. But it's just like he is a super, and they haven't. I don't think they've showed it particularly well in any of the films with Bucky. But he's a super soldier who has a fucking vibranium arm. Like versus them, he should be able to match them 2 for 2. He's also essentially a killing machine, so he should be beating the shit through them.
Yeah, I'll say I'll defend that with like the whole thing with like him and the therapist that he has, like, don't kill people, don't hurt people. He has all these PTSD flashback. Oh, he has one PTSD flashback, but you assume he has more, of him just like when he was going and killing people. You see during episode 3 where like he pretends to be the Winter Soldier and how quickly it is for him to just take someone's weapon and take out a knife and stuff like that and nearly fucking kill them and stuff like that. So I would think he's trying to be reserved and trying not to fall back down that loophole of being the Winter Soldier.
It goes to that conversation he's having with his therapist as well, where she's saying to him, rule number 1 is like, don't hurt anybody. And I think you're right. He's holding back a little bit, and then there are moments where you see him sort of snap a little bit and get back into those old habits.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on episode 2? We get a bit more conflict between Walker and Falcon and the Winter Soldier when like they get kicked off the truck, and then US agent, because he's not Captain America, gets kicked off the truck as well, and then they're just like walking down the road and they have that sort of long shot of them talking.
I do enjoy that shot. I enjoy that shot of the car driving in front of them and them just being like, nah, fuck you.
Yeah, and they open the door and they keep walking. I thought that was cool. And then just that one line of like, what does he say? Like, I really think the people could get around if Captain America had his sidekick Falcon with him. And Falcon just like, get me off this fucking truck. They just get out and walk out.
Sidekick.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was... I think the tension between both Falcon and Winter Soldier, because clearly these characters don't necessarily get along, but they're starting to, as the show progresses, they're starting to become mates.
But
I still think that like this whole we don't get along thing. It's just really contrived. There's no. I see no reason for them to dislike each other whatsoever in the first place. Like they have a mutual best friend, and they seem to not be able to get along outside of that.
Well, I'm not sure that I'm getting that. I'm not getting that from their relationship at all, personally. Like, not that they don't get along. Like, it seems to me that yes, they're close friends. They just disagree on a lot of things. That's more what I'm getting.
I think the whole I get the tension thing because you get the whole like spiel of like, why are you upset with Falcon? It's like he gave away the shield, and he, Steve gave it to the person he thought was fit for the role, and if he thinks he's wrong about that, then Steve was wrong about me being able to be a good person. And I'm like, that is a hardcore line. Like that's some deep shit. And Falcon just goes, whoop-de-doo, and I'm like, stop trying to be cool, Anthony Mackie. Like that is a big like fucking personality psychological fucking problem, and he just blows it off like it's nothing. I'm like, that's where your tension is staying, because Winter Soldier can't get over the fact that he's just given up the shield and it's changed his perspective on himself.
But they're gonna be the bestest of friends by the end of this series.
Yeah, probably. Or they both have the shield, and it's like they're sort of like that fight when Captain America and Winter Soldier take on Iron Man, how they're both throwing the shield off against an enemy. I feel like we're going to get that in the last episode.
I think that this series, I think, is clearly setting up Falcon to actually become Captain America.
Yeah, he becomes Captain America in the books.
1000%. Like it's like every single revelation along the way is like him going, well, I need to get the shield back. And they have those conversations in several episodes where it's like, okay, we definitely need, you shouldn't have given it away. I understand that now. Okay, we'll work it out.
Yeah.
But before we go into episode 3 as well, the truck fight's roughly in the middle of the film. The episode, sorry. They find out that, yes, they're super soldiers. Where these super soldiers come from, Winter Soldier says to... No, Winter Soldier, super soldiers, yep. Winter Soldier says to Falcon, I've got something to show you. They go to, is it New Orleans or Nashville or Louisiana or somewhere. And he meets this character called Isaiah, and he is a super soldier who fought Winter Soldier in Cuba, or he fought him somewhere, and he kicked the shit out of Winter Soldier. And he's just this another character with PTSD, but he got experimented on. He got thrown in prison. He got done wrong. And it just goes to show, like, there are more super soldiers out here, and the one person they need to find out of where are these super soldiers coming from. Everything sort of let's find our ways back to the Flag Smashers. Is they need Baron Zemo, which is played by Daniel Brew. Huh? What's his Fuzzy?
Looking at the wrong person.
Fucking, I forgot.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Daniel Bruja.
I think it's Daniel Brewer.
Bruja.
Wow, he's not.
I think it's just Brawl.
Like, Daniel Brawl.
It's
yeah,
German.
Yeah. And so essentially the bad guy from.
Actually, no, wait. I think he might be Spanish.
No, he's German. Yeah. So and that goes.
No, wait. He's Spanish German. There you go.
Oh, yeah. We were both wrong.
This is his real name. Here we go. Daniel Cesar Martin Brawl Gonzalez Domingo.
Right.
That is a fucking mouthful.
Imagine writing that in official government forms.
Yes.
There's a lot of names in there.
Episode 3, yeah.
Episode 3, Fuzzy.
Okay, so episode 3, we see we basically get the conversation between Zemo and Bucky, which is a lot of fun because the first thing Zemo tries to do is fucking activate him as the Winter Soldier again.
Yeah.
He's like, I just wanted to see what would happen, and I thought that was really cool. He's still trying to fuck shit up, and it kind of sets out how his character's going to be for the whole show. Is really, this is a guy kind of like Loki who may help you or may fucking stab you in the back. Either way, you're not quite sure what he's going to do. So that was fun. They basically, Bucky breaks him out of prison in some very, super spy kind of ways, which is pretty fun. And they go to this place which they're just making up called Madripoor.
It's in the comics.
It's in the comics, okay. Which is kind of like, they kind of want to make up all of these places so they don't actually have to use real places, so they can be whatever they want them to be. It's kind of like Hong Kong, but not. or Singapore or something like that.
I thought it was like it's like a dodgy corner of Singapore.
Yeah.
It's a thing in the books.
Basically, it is a city-state to itself, which is just run by criminals. And they go there to track down the super soldier serum and who's making it. They introduce a character called the Power Broker, or they refer to them at least. Basically the Power Broker is behind getting this ex-Hydra scientist to create the super soldier serum.
Yep.
We don't know who the Power Broker is yet. I'm sure that's going to be some sort of reveal at some stage during the show.
Yeah.
They basically they run into Sharon Carter at this point, who is basically this badass super secret agent now on the run, living as a fugitive in Madripoor, because for some reason they don't allow her back. They forgive everybody else but her for some reason.
Yeah, so she got done for helping, Team America for Captain America's team in Civil War, but because everyone else was an Avenger and they needed, they essentially got pardoned for saving the world, where she didn't get pardoned because she helped a fugitive and she did nothing else besides that.
But that's the thing, right? Like, they forgive the fugitive, but they don't forgive her.
I mind you, yeah. I mean, she could have also died, like snapped,
Yeah.
Just forgotten.
It's just one of those things that just didn't, like, it's another one of those parts that doesn't quite add up. Like, she seems to have not been forgiven for all of her part and everything when everyone else is forgiven. Anyway, besides the point, she helps them track down all of this stuff. There's some cool fight scenes. There's an extended dance scene in a nightclub.
I did say that, yeah.
With for fuck's sake.
That was fucking
Zemo
funny.
does this. Zemo dances like your dad.
He's supposed to blend
nightclub.
into a club or something, yeah?
Yeah. And it's just hilarious because I actually saw there's an extended thing that was on Twitter, which was extended scenes of Zemo dancing, and it's just awful. He literally dances like your dad would dance at a wedding.
No, but apparently he completely just ad-libbed it. He just started dancing.
You can tell.
But he was just like, I just had this idea. He's been locked away in a German prison for all this time. This is the first time he will have been in this environment for a while. So he's just like excited and having a little bit of a boogie. And I was just like, I really like what they're doing with Zemo in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets to have a little bit of fun in this one, which is pretty cool.
He does actually sort of like that was one of the complaints for Civil War, was Zemo was the bad guy for Civil War. He is a not a fairly big deal, but he is a decent villain in the books. He's not referred to as Baron Zemo, it's just Zemo. But then this episode, when at the start of it, he's broken out of prison, they go to one of his safe houses, or they go to one of his houses. He's loaded with money. He's rich
you
as
forget
fuck.
about the private jet that they jump on.
Yeah, like private jet. He's loaded with money, and they ask him like, "How do you have this money?" He's like, "I'm a baron," and I'm just like, "Perfect." His name's Zemo. He is an actual baron. He wears the Baron Zemo mask. He wears the outfit. It's for those fans that were upset with Zemo just being, my family was killed with the Avengers or whatever. Then you'll be satisfied with that. They have the whole like sneaking into Madripoor, like everyone pretending to be someone, and that's where Winter Soldier has to pretend to be Winter Soldier, and like he speaks to him in Russian, being like, Winter Soldier activate, stuff like that in the pub.
And conveniently for Falcon, there's another black guy who looks identical to him.
Yeah, that is a bit of a thing. He had to drink like, they went to the bar and it's like, oh, do you want your favorite order or your preferred drink? And it was like fucking snake organ shot or something like that. It's just it was weird for the sake of being weird sometimes. But it was cool, like that was the aforementioned, Winter Soldier turning, easily just like going back into the rhythm of being the Winter Soldier, like pretending that he was, like disarming someone, nearly killing them until, he gets told not to. And I think that's the earlier point that both of you guys brought up, where Winter Soldier gets the shit kicked out of him by the Flag Smashers, but in Madripoor he just goes back into that rhythm. I thought episode 3 was fucking sick, and it ends on like probably one of the coolest cliffhangers that both WandaVision and currently now these Marvel shows have done, where they go to Madripoor. I'm sorry, I'm cutting Fuzzy off. Fuzzy, you're supposed to be doing this episode. This episode.
No, you're doing fine.
No, you're doing fine.
No, I think this. You're talking about the bombing of the facility, or
yeah. So there's the bombing of the the Flag Smashers go to a facility. They steal supplies that they need, just to feed people. And the character of, I can't remember her name. I can look it up on my phone. She's the Emphas Nest character.
Carly Morgan.
That's it. Thank you. It's played by the same character who plays Emphas Nest in Solo. And her character and Carly, very similar. Stealing from the Empire, giving it to the rebels, that sort of style. And I went, here we fucking go. She's going to be the exact same character she is in Solo. But then she kills people, like blows up a building, and there's people inside, and then she goes, that's the only language I'll understand. I'm like, I like this. You've given us like a couple of episodes of her being her character in Solo, and then she's just flat out fucking kills people. And I'm like, that's a cool twist. I like that. But no, the very end of the episode is they're going to a safe house. Baron Zemo, Winter Soldier, and Falcon. And Winter Soldier's like, I'll be there in a second, I'm going to go for a walk. And he starts noticing these little beads. And Mon goes, what the fuck is he picking up? And I went, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. And it's a fucking agent of Wakanda just fucking standing there wanting Zemo. And I'm like, this is going to be good. Fuck, that was a good ending.
Yep.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is awesome to have that extra little bit in here as well. So it adds another layer to the show. It seemed to be very sort of, I suppose, one storyline going throughout it, and this adds that extra little bit of intrigue to what's happening.
Yeah, and it's personally, like, it was for me one of those things of, and it was the thing that I brought up when we talked about the Black Panther film. I'm like, where's Winter Soldier? Why isn't Winter Soldier in this battle? Why is Martin Short in this? What the fuck is going on? And then it's like, all right, cool. Well, this ties into his time as, the White Wolf in Wakanda a bit as well. And I kind of like that when it is in the second episode when Winter Soldier's sneaking around, Falcon's like, you like the White Panther? And he's like, it was the White Wolf. And he's like, what? Nothing. I thought that was cool. I like that. And I like the sort of the reference, the ties, the pullbacks to, like Fuzzy said, like what they've been doing between films. We're not necessarily getting it with Falcon, but we're getting it with the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I will say one thing that they've done so far with these first 4 episodes, when you compare it to WandaVision, is obviously WandaVision was very contained, whereas this feels like part of the bigger. And it's a lot better connected. But which I guess when you're going for this style of thing, it kind of has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I understand completely what you mean, and it definitely it feels well connected, and has given an opportunity to explain things like that, as you said. Like, probably the reason why you don't see him in Wakanda is because he's still a broken shell of a man who can't control himself, sort of thing.
Yeah, and
but you don't know that until it shows it.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Is there anything we want to say on episode 3 before we get to 4? Fuzzy, you've barely spoken.
I do enjoy I've enjoyed the parts where, like, the action sequences and Zemo puts on his, Zemo mask, and all of a sudden becomes like a super ninja, jumping around and kicking ass, and he takes the mask off and it's Daniel Bruhl again. It's clearly a different guy because Daniel Bruhl can't move like that. It's just a really those moments where these seemingly normal people can become ninjas. All of a sudden, it's a little bit. It takes you out of the believability of the show.
Yeah, and that scene as well, they find the scientist who has created the super soldier serum.
We didn't even talk about that.
And Zemo just flat up shoots him in the head. Well, like when they're trying to get information, like how many files are there? How'd you do it? Or Zemo just flat up just shoots him straight in the head.
And yes, and from that we then see what's her name?
Carly.
Huh?
Carly Morgenthau. Sharon Carter.
Sharon Carter. That's right.
Revenge.
Yeah, we see her sort of react to that, and then she gets into a car and speaks to somebody. Something that they have a problem.
She seems to have a bit of a double agent thing.
I think she works for the power broker.
I think she is a power broker.
Oh, you think she is the power broker?
Yeah, I'm thinking so. She has like original, like fucking Van Gogh paintings in her house and all that sort of stuff like that. Like that's a pretty baller move.
No, but she was a stolen art broker.
Yeah,
she
true.
was selling the art. She didn't own it.
I'm thinking she is the power broker, but like I'm hoping that it'll be like some other new actor.
Well, she does go, I have access to a satellite in the next episode.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that's interesting if she is the power broker, and that makes sense why she doesn't want to go back to America.
Very good point. Very good point. Is there anything else on this episode before we call this episode and move on to I would consider the fucking coolest episode next?
I do think the next episode is probably the best one so far.
Yeah, probably.
So, considering you two shared that last one, who wants to speak about this one? Who wants to go through the story?
I'll leave it to Fuzzy. I'm sorry, Fuzzy. I took over your episode.
Damn it. Okay, so in this episode, we get the Wakandans doing their thing. They're basically here to take down Zemo because he killed the king. But they give Bucky 8 hours to sort out some stuff. So there's some spy stuff going on here. They track down Carly to basically try and negotiate with her and get her to stop. Sam goes in to talk to her, and then Captain America freaks out and ruins the day.
Yeah.
And then they basically they get to a point where the super soldier serum drops out on the ground. Zemo starts smashing it all except for one vial, which Captain America picks up and is clearly going to use later, which he definitely does. And there's some interesting fight sequences in here where we get to see a little bit more action. I think that's probably why it is definitely one of the better episodes, because it is more actiony.
Yeah.
It's starting to get to a head. I think those are the major plot points of this one. It is a lot more action. It is very much Carly trying to negotiate with Sam, but also trying to get her way. There's some sort of subplot going on with them. Like, I don't know quite what their end game is at this point, but it feels like something's happening that that hasn't been revealed. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
It gives us a bit of backstory as well, because it does a little recappy thing at the start of Winter Soldier meeting up with. It's not Okoye, but it's essentially the person who helped Winter Soldier. I can't recall the actual character name, but it is essentially one of those like Black Panther's sort of personal bodyguards. And you get a flashback of her, trying to reactivate the Winter Soldier by saying the phrases, and Bucky's not responding to it, and he's just he's crying with joy because he's free. And then after shit goes down, the Agents of Wakanda. It's a comic book series, but that's what I'm fucking calling it. The Agents of Wakanda. They go into Zemo's apartment, and a fucking fight breaks out. We see Winter Soldier get the living shit kicked out of him. And Winter Soldier's a super soldier. We get Captain America getting the shit kicked out of him, and he gets pinned down. They throw a spear through the leather straps behind the shield and pin him into a table. I'm like, that's fucking cool. But the coolest thing of that fight was one of them just touches Winter Soldier's arm and turns something, and his arm just falls off. And I'm like, that's like Buzz Lightyear. That's fucking cool. That's a weakness for the Winter Soldier, because the whole thing was what's his fucking weakness? If you hold it, Steve Rogers' Captain America was if you pin down his metal arm, he's screwed. He's got nothing. Well, this one's there's a deactivation sequence to make his fucking arm fall off. It's cool as fuck. But
it's pretty cool. I like the moment where New Cap starts saying things like, "Oh, they weren't even super soldiers and they kicked my ass." And that's the moment he decides that he's going to take the serum to become a super soldier.
Yeah, and this episode provides a pretty decent good cop bad cop character arc, if you will, for Falcon, because the whole thing is Winter Soldier is just there if shit goes down, Falcon is still just a guy. He's a guy with wings. That's his thing. But Winter Soldier can at least defend, attack, so on and so forth. He's in certain shots, he's the quiet guy in the background. Where, as you said, Fuzzy, they have the scene where they find where Carly is. John Walker just goes, let's go in and let's get in. And it's well, no, she's grieving. This is the best time to talk to her and reason with her, because once she's made up her mind after this, there's no going back.
And that's the point. That to me, that scene where he's doing that and then Falcon actually goes in and speaks to her and he's more reasonable and stuff, that's meant to be drawing the ties between him and Steve Rogers. It's meant to be showing him as that sort of character.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's what Steve would do anyways. That's the whole fucking thing for Civil War. But I really love the whole thing of Winter Soldier just standing in front of the door trying to block him off, being you're not going it. Give him his time. They somehow get around him. Don't know how. But
no, he agrees to go with them. Because he's your friend could be...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry.
He doesn't say fucking, but he says...
You could be dead or whatever.
And then he decides to
Yeah. And then it's Fuzzy. You can do the rest of the episode.
Thank you. I think that's pretty much it, really. We get the part where Carly actually kills
Battlestar.
What's his name? Battlestar, and that's when Captain America snaps, and it's pretty cool. And he chases down one of the flag smashers. Knocks him over in this middle of the city square and literally just like decapitates him with the shield, which is gives us a really awesome final shot where it's sort of the camera pans around slowly and then there's just blood all over the shield. People are watching him, seeing what's happening. So something's going to go down. Captain America is no longer going to be Captain America. It's kind of cool. A good way, you talked about the cliffhanger on the last episode. I thought that was a really cool moment to end on, because the potential for things to go crazy from here is limitless.
100%. I think that shot at the end with him with the blood on his shield was absolutely brutal. Mm-hmm. I think the angle that they had that shot from, I think they could have done it better. They could have made it look
They could have it dripping
cooler.
off the shield or something.
I don't know. I would have liked them to have tweaked that before.
Well, I will just say though, it's a lot for them to show blood, because
Yeah.
you see a lot of there's a lot of fight scenes. There was a scene with Sharon Carter, she has basically a knife fight with three dudes and stabs the crap out of them, and you don't see any blood at all. So it's a lot for them to show blood. It means, it's quite a significant moment within Marvel. They tend to shoot a lot of people. There's arrows going into people. You might see scrapes and cuts and things like that, but you don't actually see the blood come off. So that, I think, is a really, highlights how significant it is for the series and Marvel shows as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. That's actually a really good point.
Yes, I think this is definitely opening it up to at this point. I mean, I had been watching, so I watched the first 2 episodes 1 week after the other. Then these 2 episodes I banked up and watched them together. After the end of this one, this is probably the first ending of one of these episodes that has made me go, all right, I'm watching the next one as soon as it drops because I need to know what happens next. Need to know.
Yeah. And look, I think for the next one, they've teased that there's some sort of very significant cameo coming in. They have not said exactly who it is, but they're saying it's a character that exists within the Marvel universe, hasn't been on screen before. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Oh, please tell me it's old man Steve Trevor. That'd be awesome.
The surprise introduction.
Oh, surprise introduction.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
I don't know.
So it's a new MCU character that they're introducing.
Yeah, it's a new character. I don't believe. I think that what they're saying is it's not like hey, we're teasing this character because they've got some movies coming up kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it is very much a new character which will be fairly significant. So looking forward to seeing what that might be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of speculation around it at this stage. I won't go into it because there's zero rumors that hold any credibility at this point. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think this is because how many episodes have we got to go? It's going to be 8 or 9 episodes, isn't it?
It's a 6. I think it's a 6 episode show going on IMDb. It's only got 6 episodes listed.
It's pretty short.
Yeah, so it's only got 2 episodes left.
Well, easy way to tell. When does Loki get released?
June.
Oh, is Loki not the next one?
Loki will be the next show, but it releases in June.
Oh. Okay, so they have a gap.
Yeah.
I thought they were.
Oh no,
I thought they were
a
going-
gap.
Well, they had the momentum going. I thought they wanted to continue the momentum. That's surprising, actually.
Unless they randomly drop something, being like, this is our next show or something, but I don't think they'll do that without teasing anything.
Maybe they'll fool me into watching those Avenger recap things so they explain who the characters are again.
Quite possibly.
I watched them on Disney Plus. They're 15 minutes of literally just a clip show. They're actually for somebody who doesn't know the movies, they're decent. So it takes a character and it goes through their entire story throughout
that's
the
cool.
previous films and has clips throughout the previous films and explains the backstory.
Right.
So they did one for Vision, for Wanda, and I'm assuming they've done one for Bucky and Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, guys. It is 6 episodes in total, so we've got 2 left to go, which will be very interesting. Look, I know we're starting to see a lot of teasers for things now as well. Within the online, there's a bunch of stuff. I saw one today about Oscar Isaac, who is training to be Moon Knight.
Saw that.
So there was basically it's a couple of minutes of him just like punching on dudes to Rage Against the Machine, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's also all the new talks of the new villain who they believe will be replacing Thanos, which is time. He deals with time.
I think Kang the Conqueror.
Kang the Conqueror.
That's for Ant-Man.
What about
Wasp
Kodos?
3. That's not. He's a decent villain, but I don't think he'll be the next Thanos. The next Thanos has got to be like Galactus or something. Like it's got to be
or the Scarlet Witch.
Or the Scarlet Witch. I want Null. Bring in Null.
You can't do Null. Not yet.
So as far as releases,
you get Null after Thor 4, if anything.
As far as releases go, we've got the next one coming up. I think is the Loki TV show in June.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of months to wait till that happens, and then after that we've got Black Widow
Baby.
In July. Yeah.
and
we'll have
then
Shang-Chi next, I think.
Yeah, there's a bunch of there's big gaps, and then I think Venom is coming out at some stage.
Yes, and Venom can bring in Null.
No, you
There we go.
need to do Thor 4 to bring in Null.
Why?
Oh, and
Thor-
one thing I
Null
did
is
see
tied
this
to
morning
Nicole.
as well was the teasers for the character models of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
So as always happens, the toys have revealed what the characters are going to look like. So there's a toy line for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So that's coming September, I think, this year.
Oh, there was a thing as well I saw on Boss Logic. He's an Australian artist, I think he is, but he does a lot of pop culture art and stuff like that. There was a teaser thing. I don't know if it's true. It's probably not. It's probably just fan art. But it was the Disney Plus logo, but it was in a outside raining New York church rooftop, and it was Disney, and the plus was the cross on the roof, and it was a red cross with a little guy hanging off it. And I'm like, oh, please do Daredevil. Please do Daredevil. Do another Daredevil, because that Netflix Daredevil series was fucking cool as fuck.
It had its moments.
They probably will do Daredevil. 'Cause Daredevil's a relatively known character already. Like, I feel like it would be strange to continually bring in like the
New
Eternals and
Yeah.
Shang-Chi and not just bring Daredevil
bring the
in.
Defenders back, like, because there's rumors that Charlie Cox, John Bernthal, and Kristen Ritter were like, yep, they're going to be coming back as their characters. I'm like, please do a Heroes for Hire TV show, because that would be fucking awesome. I want Luke Cage and I want Iron Fist back, because I love those characters.
I suspect they're not going to use the same characters. I don't reckon they'd use the same actors because Marvel wants to do their own thing.
Yeah, but they were pseudo set in the MCU because they were all talking about the incident, and it was like photos and newspapers of things coming out of the sky. and a
Well,
whole
they
country.
were originally, but now I think Marvel have gone, nah, we want full control of everything.
This episode is getting a little long in time. Does anyone have any negatives about the show in general so far that they want to bring up before we probably get back to this in, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks' time after Mortal Kombat and talk about the series as a whole?
Yeah, fair enough. Look, I have found this show to be slow. It's kind of like a really slow Sunday afternoon dad spy movie. It's okay. I'm enjoying the fight sequences. I think the development of Bucky's character has been really great. Sam just doesn't do much for me, to be honest. I just look. I think WandaVision, at least for me, like if we're doing direct comparisons, it was asking some questions that made you think. Like whether or not you liked it was completely different. It was something different. This just feels like it's ground we've trodden over before. So it's kind of not hooking me in, apart from the action sequences, of which there are not as many as I would like.
Yeah, I guess the thing really with Sam's character, and I think you you did touch on that. I think we all did, was the how he's not as interesting as Bucky's character, really.
No.
But you even see that as well. Is that I think it's episode 4 when Carly calls his sister, and starts talking to him, and it was almost like remember the part of backstory we were trying to give Falcon? That's here too. Remember his sister in the boat? Guys, the boat.
When the sister calls him when he's pretending to be someone in Mandrapore as well. It's like, yeah, I'm going to own that bank. I'm like, okay, Anthony Mackie, dial it back.
Yeah. It's like, remember this other subplot?
Yeah.
It's pointless. Like, I mean, you've got, they are longer episodes. Obviously, WandaVision was like 20, 30 minutes. Like, these are like 40-minute episodes.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of time to play with, and that's what you focus on. Like, come on, get to the meat of what we want to see. Like, absolutely, we want these characters to be personalized and be, real 3D characters, but they kind of just don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I'm absolutely loving this show compared to WandaVision. WandaVision was confusing, boring mess, where for me, this is fucking great. I know what's going on. I've, loved Winter Soldier. This series is very much the first act of Captain America and the Winter Soldier. It's very much of that saving hostages and finding a hidden bomb, like all that sort of espionage-y spy sort of stuff. And I think it's great. I would have liked something though where yes, Captain America's shield isn't Mjolnir, you don't need to be worthy to use it sort of thing, but John Walker just uses it and he's basically fucking perfect at it, where it would have been cool if there was an element to it where a little bit similar to Age of Ultron, where Captain America's suit had magnets on it, so if it was on the ground and not bouncing off something, he could pick it up, but if he threw it and then activated magnets to bring it back, so I was like, well, he's still throwing the shield, it's still coming back to him, but it's not bouncing and rebounding off things, and he's, being Captain America, actually getting it back, he's using the magnet to pull it back. I thought that would have been a cool little mechanic to add to it.
Look, I think with all of these things, it's very much they make a point that this John Walker is this super he's a super soldier in the sense that he does things amazingly well. He's got a couple of medals of honor. He's this amazing dude as far as the army is concerned. But It needed more of that. He's training to be Captain America type thing, I think.
Yeah, it's very much that what if scenario where in the first Captain America film where Tommy Lee Jones was like, give it to him. He's the fastest. He's the fittest. He's the this. He's the that. Where it's well, Steve Rogers jumped on top of a grenade, sort of that heart of him. And they even bring that up, did you jump on top of a grenade? He's like, well, yeah, I put my helmet down because my helmet's a fucking... And I'm just like, well, that's not what he's asking. Have you tried to sacrifice yourself to save others? Not, I put a helmet on top of a grenade because it can hold ballistic damage or whatever. I like that. It's very much a what if from the original callback of the first Captain America film.
When's What If? When's that coming out?
I don't know. That's animated as well.
End of the year. I think that's sort of September, October. Okay. It's going to be one of those ones that gets probably released on Disney Plus, and that's about it.
Yeah, and it's got Michael Rooker, it's got Chris Hemsworth, it has Chadwick Boseman. I'm fairly sure it does to voice T'Challa, because there was the crossover tease for that of Star-Lord and Black Panther being swapped. That'd be cool. I don't know when that is. And that's got Peggy Carter Captain America or Captain Britain or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's. I think they've said summertime. So it's one of those whenever the fuck we get to finish it. So it'll be sometime around the end of the year for Disney Plus.
Okay.
Well, last thing I'll say before we call it is the new character that they're going to introduce for some point. I'm calling it as Captain Britain.
You reckon they're going to bring in Captain Britain?
Because we got Red Guard, which is the fucking Russian version of Captain America in Black Widow, which is David Harbour. We've got Captain America. I'm like, we'll have Captain Britain. I think that'll be the next one because it's very Europe-based at the moment.
Yeah?
That's what I'm thinking.
It would be interesting if they introduce some non-American.
Yeah.
Nah, look, I think what's going to happen is, we're going to get John Walker goes completely off the wall.
Oh, yeah.
We get Bucky and the Falcon who fight him off and basically stop him, and Falcon takes the shield. That's what it's leading to. Well, he's going to be the new Captain America, Captain Falcon.
They still
but they'll have to call him something else because they can't call him that because that's copyrighted to Nintendo. So yes, it'll be Captain Falcon at some point.
But it's that they still have even though they've got 45-minute episodes, they've still got to deal with him, Zemo, and the Power Broker.
Yep,
and Carly.
Yeah, that's going
Yeah,
to be
see,
interesting.
I think they'll reveal potentially the Power Broker as like a last 2 minutes or a post-credit sequence in the last episode. And like, hey, this is the Power Broker, and that'll lead into some other movie that they do later on. So there'll be tie-ins to like a lot of kind of like what we got with WandaVision. Like we expected things to happen, and then it kind of didn't. And so,
If we get Captain America and Falcon talking about the boat that is leaking and not leaking at the same time and changing out pieces of wood and that fucking garbage fight between the two visions, I'll be pissed.
You mean the session where they
Is it the
started
same
fighting for 2 seconds and then just talked?
It's so fucking...
Is it the same ship, Duty?
It's stupid is what it is.
Is it the same ship?
No,
No.
because it's stupid.
He's a no person. By the way, completely, you started ramping it up when we got to time. I forgot that I was hosting. So, we'll leave it at that.
Yes.
I hope all you beautiful people at home enjoyed those tidbits, enjoyed the bearded men's voices through your ear holes. Oh, get some,
You have such a way with words, Tom.
some beautiful... Oh. I've always thought so. Now I completely forgot to say this, but we are sponsored.
Yes, we are. We are sponsored by Incognito Comics. This week is actually, or not this week, actually last week, but you can still get it if you want to get it. Since Disney bought Fox, so they own Die Hard, they own Alien Predator, Marvel Comics, of course, being owned by Disney, they've released issue 1 of their Alien book. Ian and I have read it, and it's interesting. It's set after the events of Alien 3. Aliens are still a thing, Ripley's dead, so on and so forth. But it teases this character who essentially is the leader of the aliens. Sort of a hive. She looks what you would expect. What would you expect the leader of the aliens to look like? A queen or something,
A queen,
right?
but bigger.
Right?
Maybe.
This looks like the thing from Species. It's a lady, and she's the HR Geiger.
Oh, so you mean like Kerrigan from Starcraft?
Yeah, it's very much that, and it's like she's on one page, and like me and Ian are like, what the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this? And like, it's a one-off line, and then the book keeps going, and it's a decent story. The artwork is good at the start, and it's good at the end, but the middle is very rushed and boring. But it's a good book. Of course, you can pick it up at Incognito Comics. Of course, as well, Marvel Comics has a contract with Warhammer, so they're doing Warhammer comic books. So I'm going to pick that up and review that for next week's episode or not next week's episode, but the next episode for Mortal Kombat.
And I've decided I want to try and get storylines around Null.
Or King in Black is what you want.
I've been reading about Null recently.
Or Venom.
And I tell you what, I'll be very interested to get into the Invincible comics series. I've been
you've been watching that.
The TV show. Wow, it's good. It's so much fun. So I'm going to get into the comics as well.
Ooh, so we might have some books for people to listen to us. Maybe that could be an episode. We just talk about books for an episode.
Oh, we could do that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Reference it back to what we've been watching. Like, we could read Falcon and the Winter Soldier and refer it to the show.
So, that is Incognito Comics. You want to go check out incognitocomics.com.au
Yes.
for all your comic book needs.
They're doing a free comic book giveaway as well. If you follow them on Facebook, take a look at the post.
They are. Check out the Facey B. There's a Carnage book in there. There's a Spider-Man book in there, and I think there's 4 other books. I don't remember the other 4 books, but there are definitely 4 other books. So, that has been episode Atlanta Falcons.
200 and something.
200 and something. Woo, we are churning them out, boys. I hope you have enjoyed that. I hope you have listened and paid attention, and you can tell us all about it. We expect a 300-word synopsis on our desks by Monday morning.
We release this Monday.
Oh, you're fired! You're fired!
And we know you have a choice when listening to pop culture podcasts, and you clearly picked the one with nerd in the title. I have been Tom. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on, and see you next time.
I've been Fuzzy, reminding you to get me pictures of Spider-Man.
And I've been Duty, reminding you that this is a lot better than WandaVision.
Incorrect.
A lot better.
Incorrect.
A lot better.